Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is about Jamboard, Google's Jamboard, and how to create a good retrospective with that. Because you can use, there's a lot of tools out there for retrospectives and for Scrum, but there's one that is for free actually. That is a Jamboard, Google Jamboard. And you just go to jamboard.google.com. You can use it for a lot of cool things, but the awesome thing about this is that you can edit the same page at the same time. So that's cool. And how should this retrospective be made? You should always think about that. You try to keep it short and concise, because it's not everybody in the Scrum team that actually enjoys having this retrospective right here. And you should also keep it short, so you don't try to make up problems that are not there. You should only target the important problems and how to do that. The most important thing is that you only have two categories. You should not try to make too many categories. You should make something that where you praise what actually went well the last sprint, and then you should have one with things that did not go well, and where we should actually change some things, where we should adapt to actually become more efficient and to become a better team. So start with drawing a line in the middle right here, and then you can put on a header. Like this is what went well, and of course you can phrase this like you want to. You can also say keep doing or stop doing or whatever you want to. But right now I just say what went well. The good thing about doing that is because then you are actually then you'll not trick, but then you'll empathize your developers to be very specific, because then you have to come with a specific situation. They don't have to. They will not say something like we feel or I feel that we are not our code quality is not good enough or something like that. If you have what went well and what went not so good or less well. So these are the problem areas, right? This is like maybe we had this could be that pipeline broke down and prevented us from delivering code to production. So that could be one, right? And of course the color, you decide what the colors, does not matter. And then you just place these and on the right side, and you make more of these. What went well? That could be something like nice pair programming with Susan or something like that. If you had a good experience with that. So this is just like to give people credit for the good things that actually that actually happened the last sprint. So that can be thank you Søren for always helping out, or something like that, or great session about containerized deliveries, Mike, or something like that, right? So you just put on the positive things right here, and it does not matter with the color, of course, of the notes, just as long as they're on the left side. And you have some other ones that are on the right side, and this could be something like what else could be bad? Maybe this time we overcommitted to the. We always overcommit to the Scrum sprint. So that means that we actually had some gyros that were not done yet when we are done. That's very normal. Another bad thing that could be that we increased technical depths with 3 days according to SonarQube. You need to, if you're interested in technical depth and in code quality, and of course you are, then you should have something to measure it. If you don't measure it, then you would not have any number for whether it's your code quality is improving or whether it's getting worse. And SonarQube is an excellent choice for that. So then you have notes like this. So that is to begin with, and everybody makes these notes, and you can make as many as you want. But the important part here is that it is time limited. So you need to be time You need to give it a fixed time, like 5 minutes. 5 minutes is enough. So 5 minutes is a good rule of thumb. Max 5 minutes. You could also give it 10, but 5 minutes is usually enough, because if people get longer than that, longer than 5 minutes, then try to make up problems or maybe scenarios that they were not that bad, but now they mention them anyway, because you give them a task to provide these notes right here, which was stuff that was not good. Then of course people will make up stuff or find stuff, right? Maybe the coffee machine was out of coffee for half a day. Then that note will come up here, right? When you have enough notes, then you can tell your team members to place 3 votes. Sometimes you say that it's okay that they place it on the same on the same problem. That means that they can actually place all 3 votes on the same problem. The point here is that there needs to be a limited amount of votes, and and that's actually it. So then everybody goes, and then they say, okay, I want to put one. If you decide you can only put one vote on each note, then you put 1 vote right there. Put maybe one there. Now we only have 3. We only have 3 notes here right now, so that was a bad example. So let me just. I'll say that in this situation, you can actually place all 3 votes in the same one. So now I place all of the 3 votes right here. Then we count the votes afterwards, and of course, everybody will sit and do their votes at the same time. They can also have their own. They can have their own avatar. So if you're Scrum Master and you prepared this Jamboard right here, then you will have added some images of each person. So then each person could actually just place an avatar. They will just place the avatar right here, so then everybody can see who voted what. That's one thing missing actually. After everybody places the notes on the board, then the Scrum Master will read the notes, and if there are any questions, like especially what went well, that's okay that the Scrum Master will read that up. But else usually it's actually the team members who actually made these messages that would actually read them, because they know the meaning behind them, and they will also explain the problem, like what was the problem with the pipeline and all that. So if your Scrum Master leave the scene to the developers, let them read up their own notes, then you also get a break. Then you can get a good sip of your coffee. So if your Scrum Master, let the Scrum developers let them read up the notes and explain what lies behind that note. And then they also have a good way. It's also a good way of actually saying thank you to each other, to the developers, when they actually help each other, right? So recognize their contribution. The same thing with things that did not go well. That the developer who actually made that note tell us a story. What actually went wrong, and when was it fixed, and what was the problem, and what was the consequence. And then it's easier for everybody to vote. When that is done, then we place all of the votes right here. When you can see when the voting is done, and again, give the votes maximum 5 minutes. It has to be fluent, and it has to be fluent, and it has to not to take too long. These retrospectives, or else people will start. It will tire people, and they will lose focus, and they will actually start to code or work in the background instead. That's just how it is. We are developers, right? So keep it very, very short. Keep it very short. So then after 5 minutes where we vote, then we will target the note with the most votes. Sometimes you will take number 2 and number 3 also. That depends on how big these situations are, because but it's okay to take 3 or just 2. You take 1 to 3 of the most voted problems, and then you would then rank those up. So you have the pipeline in the top, and you can just make a new one right here. Then we say pipeline, that is this one right here, pipeline. And then the second problem was maybe technical debt. That was the second one. And then you start with the discussion right here. And again, it should be time based, right? It should be time boxed. So here we'll say again, maximum 10 minutes. I think I would say that is the maximum for this. So take 10 minutes where all of the developers they discuss the pipeline problem. Maybe sometimes it's actually a very easy fix, and everybody agrees on what should actually be done. Maybe we need to create a new Jira where we where we go from Jenkins to Bamboo, for instance. That could be a problem. Maybe that could be the solution, because we know that all the other teams, they're using Bamboo now, and they do not have the same problem like we have. It could also be the other way around, of course. It's just an example. So, and then if everybody agrees on that after 1 or 2 minutes, then you just continue, and then you take the next problem. And then after 10, maximum 15 minutes, then then stop. It should be time boxed, and it should not take too long, because it will tire the developers. And especially if you have short sprints, then you will have retrospectives very often. If you have short sprints, then you could think about actually skipping every second retrospective, so you only have every second time. Especially if you in your daily Scrum meetings in the mornings, maybe you would actually allow for a second round or an opens round, where you also try to solve problems. Then a retrospective is definitely not needed every time, or every sprint. If your sprint is like maybe 1 or 2 weeks long. I would recommend sprints of 2 weeks. I think that's a sweet spot for me, at least. So every second week, then you have a retrospective, unless you have it every second time. That means that then you have once per month, then you do this retrospective right here. It also depends on how many problems that you have. If you can see that you have a lot of problems here, and a lot of developers actually have something on their mind, and they actually think that we should actually solve these things, and that is usually the case if it's a fresh greenfield project and that you just started up. And then in the beginning you don't know how to maybe create front-end code but that is clean and that is understandable by other people, and maybe you don't have a pipeline that works. Maybe you don't have that set up Sonar Cube and all that stuff. So then you have many more problems than you usually would have. So in the beginning, maybe then you just increase the number of meetings or increase the number of the time boxed value. But I would say just keep meetings short in general, and just take more of them. Just make more meetings, but make them short, because it is actually proven that people tend to lose their attention after just 5-6 minutes actually. And meetings should definitely not be longer than 20 minutes. That is the absolute maximum. And if they do so, they should definitely have some breaks, long breaks. Yeah. And if you take a break of just like 5-10 minutes, then it's actually like then the attention span, the attention will actually go back like it was just a fresh meeting. Actually, that has also been proven. So take short meetings, and if you really need to have longer meetings, then take breaks after at maximum 20 minutes. Also maybe after maybe 15 minutes is enough, and then take a break. Also, because then you would actually have, what actually happens is then people will actually sit and continue discussing this, even though they're on a break sometimes. Then you just go to the coffee machine, some of them, and some of them will actually have a real break, and then their mind will be fresh when they come back. Yeah, I think that's actually, that's how to do a good retrospective. And then, of course, pick up these. There needs to be an outcome. So for each problem that you have, you need to have something that you can measure afterwards. So that means that you need to create some kind of Jira with an accept criteria, so you know that you actually did not just talk just to keep yourself warm. That you actually talked and you actually solved something, and you can actually measure that you solved this afterwards. That is why there needs to be an acceptance criteria. Just like when you code anything business related, also then there's always need to be an acceptance criteria. You need to know when you're done. And that you actually solved that. Some problems, like especially if they're on the second or third place, some problems, if you do not have enough time to solve them, then that's okay. Let's say that you did not have time to solve or even talk about the third one. If it was really, really important, then it will come up as number one the next time. If it was not important, it was actually just something that people thought was important, or maybe it is a problem that was solved by itself. Or by itself, I mean some developer that actually was sitting there thinking, "Oh, could we just solve it like that?" And then he actually solved it as part of another task. It is okay to do minor improvements when you have another task, of course. and then he or she just solved this problem, and then it actually did not appear next time, then that's fine. Or maybe the problem was actually so important that it actually will appear again, maybe in 3-4 weeks, and then it will just pop up there again, and then you will talk. Then maybe it will be number 1, and then you will talk about it again there. But it could also just be a problem that people thought was a problem, but it was actually not that big a thing. It was just because they got this assignment from you that they actually had to put stickers on a wall, right? And then they put these post-its on the wall because that was what you told them to do, right? So people are quite helpful. They try to solve whatever they're told to solve, right? So so that's it. Make gyros from them, and then you will actually follow up on these gyros as the first thing on your next retrospective. Then you will actually look into it. Did you migrate from Jenkins to Bamboo, if that was the problem? Did you solve this other problem with the technical debt? Is it now lower or not? So you have to follow up on it the following retrospective. That is also why it needs to be something measurable that you're going to do to it, about it. So you need to measure that you're actually fixing it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great evening, and I hope to see you again soon, and thank you very much for all of your comments as usual. Bye bye.